Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hi guys. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I might remember, involve me and I will learn. This describes our methodology at the University of Westminster and our approach to architectural education and education in general. We both teach this class and we both believe in an architecture that's more playful, self-driven and joyful. This is the story of our journey. With 20 students, we brought them to the desert to build two architectural, artistic art pieces.
Yep. Okay, so this, I don't know if it's quite clear for you to see, but this is our studio in Westminster. It's a postgraduate studio. We believe in doing a lot of fun things in the studio. We believe in doing kind of large-scale projects, and we mix around we jump between the digital and the physical. So we do a lot of physical model making, and then we go back to the computer and kind of move around in those scales. Yeah.
The tools that we use, laser cutting, CNC machining, 3D printing, all those tools allow the students to create a loop in their work where they can actually cut any middleman. They just directly design and then fabricate themselves and then design again and build and design and build and design and build. So they don't need to kind of only spend time on their drawings. They can actually have direct feedback from their machines and their designs. So we think that allows them to be very fluid creatively and allows them to jump in scale very fast, which in this case we see a lot of machines that we've used throughout the year. These are images of this year and last year. We started teaching last year and we already started on Burning Man. This is listening to some parabolic sounds coming from space. So those are different tools that we use. A laser cutter, here is one of our students playing with convection cells. We are inspired and we tell them to get inspired by anything, whether it's a natural system, mathematical system, in this case crystals, or it could be fractals, magnetic fields. They look at those in the digital environment and also create models. And they do this very continuously. And this will lead us to the larger model, because as I say, we can jump in scale very fast. And you will see on the playa very soon some projects that we worked on. But those are other examples of crazy experiments, like plastic made of potato starch or tensegrity structure. Some of our students are in the audience now. Here we go. Those are like wax experiment where someone just drops a cup of wax in cold water and freezes the movement, or a harmonograph with a LED light creating beautiful geometries just with the harmony. And again, some fabric structures. So all these were modeled in the computer and then recreated physically. So for people to understand what they're doing and understand the rules of how they work.
Okay, so we were kind of inspired by Burning Man and the 10 principles that it set up around, and we immediately saw that there's kind of parallels with the principles of Burning Man that we could apply in architectural education. The notion of self-sufficiency, the notion of radical self-expression. They were all things that we found we could overlap and weave into an architectural education back in London. Yep. So these are some of the earlier projects. So like we said, we did this for 2 years. The first year we just went all out and designed some kind of massive black clouds that float and people climb up into. And the Burning Man organisers didn't give us any money. But they did come over to London and they liked what we were up to, and they spoke to us and said, well, look, if you want funding and you want to build, then tweak it, make it a bit more buildable, which is what we've done and why we're here this year.
Our first projects from last year, you had, for example, the butterfly releasing tensegrity tower in the sky, which I think didn't convince the organizer. We had crystals creating rainbows on the playa with the specific sun angles. We had tetrahedron that were assembled by the people here, and people could climb and assemble and make it grow as the festival went. And again, we did the same process by doing digital experiments, and this one definitely didn't convince them, but they all got free tickets for the intention. Those are a big drape that is moving with the wind movement. And this is a jacuzzi that crystallizes the salt around its fibers. So, like Toby said, we didn't convince them, but very soon we started doing more realistic project with the feedback of the director.
Okay, so this is, you might have seen on Playa, we've got 2 projects out here, and the students are over there, the people that designed them. This one we just built, so we've been here for 12 days now, so we're going slightly dust crazy. But this one is called Shipwreck by Georgia Rose Collard Watson, and it's just out by 6 o'clock. She's in the room, I think, somewhere. She's over there. Woo! Yeah. And this one is Fractal Cult by Athanasius Koras, who's also, I think, in the room, if he's not out drinking. Yeah, so they're playful, they're fun places to be. I'm guessing some of you have probably been climbing around in them. Don't wobble it too hard.
The whole process started a while ago, actually. This is Georgia holding one of the prototypes, and these are some of the experiments we started with in the computer, doing all the different iterations of how we were getting the wood back with the engineer, and the bending angles, and how we would gonna anchor to the ground, and the build process. This is the build process of Fractal Cult. And some models. Toby can talk about that. Basically, with the engineer developing the scaffolding, and it was a very thorough process to go from a concept model to something much more real. So that's us sending the actual files to Sacramento to a lot of different fabricators, and trying to come here with a 24-foot truck and putting everything in our one truck. This is Toby happy. He can continue from now.
This is Arthur asleep in the back of the truck. Yeah, struggling with hexayurts.
There was a lot of adversity that we did not plan at all. When we arrived, we never came. I never came to a festival. I didn't know. Toby got me into that. And so with the camp and starting to unfolding everything that we had no choice but to actually use what we had, and we were missing quite a lot of pieces, so we had to be very creative. And so as you go, all those assembly process just took us a lot of effort and creativity to assemble here without any outside input. So here we go.
Yep, scaffolding. I mean, it's been great for the students, I think, to learn, and for us too, actually, to learn all about the process and just kind of be really involved, like hands.
This is the final. This is the final project, and we entitled the lecture "The Architecture of Joy," as we thought that our notion of architecture, seeing when we met to create the studio, we were both working in practices in London, and we were always in front of our computer and thinking that's not what we signed for. I thought we would build, we would be creative, and we were really excited at the idea of doing buildings like the ones we were looking at when we were a child. And in this case, we thought, let's bring it back, and Burning Man was the perfect opportunity for that. And in this case, the architecture being climbable, having no boundaries, the fact that you can basically access anywhere, is an aspect that really was dear to our heart, and created this joyful architecture. So we'll show you a bit more images, but you're welcome to go and see them and climb them, and hopefully they won't break. You can go inside.
Yeah, well, that's kind of it. We just wanted to share that story with you. So thank you. Have a good burn.
Good night.